But like I said, I'll now pass over to Neil, and he can give you a better understanding of the whole process.
All right, just a show of hands to start with, if I can do, please. Who's actually bought a house? You have? You haven't bought a house just yet? No. And you guys haven't either? And you guys who haven't bought properties yet, are you looking to buy it from an investment perspective or to live in it? Not really matters too much. Maybe both. Okay, cool. Well, as the screen suggests, my name's Neil Gorman. I actually own a mortgage choice franchise. As well as being a mortgage broker, I am actually a property investor myself. I've bought, renovated and sold 9 properties to date. And I'm part of Steve McKnight's results program as well. Is there anybody in this room who doesn't know who Steve McKnight is? Anybody honest enough to say they don't know who he is? Okay. Lovely job. Well, thank you for asking that question. The results program, if you do know who he is, Steve McKnight, he has written his book, 0 to 130 properties, 0 to 260 properties. The man buys lots and lots of properties. He's obviously a very experienced property investor. Now, I was thinking to myself, if I was in your situation, what sort of questions would I want answering? And there's probably 3 that I would like to get answered, and they would be those. If I was going to buy a property for the first time, how much can I borrow? What will it cost me? And as Chris has already alluded to, what's the best structure I can put in place to actually buying a particular property? Now, I'm only a mere mortgage broker. I'm not an accountant either. So with regards to question 3, I'd certainly go with what Chris has suggested. Before you actually go out there and buy property, certainly if you're doing it from an investment perspective, go and get some proper financial advice from your accountant. In terms of the other 2, how much can I borrow? What will it cost me? Indeed, realestate.com.au have got a calculator. Mortgage Choice have got one as well. I'd encourage you to use ours. They do exactly the same thing. So if you want a quick and easy answer to how much can you actually borrow and how much will it cost you, I would suggest you just jump onto one of those calculators. But I'm going to take you through in a little bit more detail the factors which will affect how much you can borrow and what it will cost. In terms of how much you can borrow, it's largely determined by 2 things. First, the size of your contribution, the size of your deposit, and the second thing, your serviceability. How much can you afford to pay, or can you afford to repay the loan? Okay, we'll look at those in a bit more detail. Chris has already alluded to it. How much does it actually cost to buy a property? Now, we know obviously if you come to buy a property, you're going to have to pay the person who's selling it the cost of the property itself. But over and above that, you've got your stamp duty to pay, you've got your legal costs to pay. So the people in the room who've bought property already, you've obviously paid a solicitor or a conveyancer to do the legal stuff for you. Application fees for the lenders. I always find this a bit of a moot point, really. You want to borrow hundreds of thousands of dollars from these people, and they're going to charge you hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest to actually lend you that money. They're also going to charge you about $600 to apply to borrow that money as well. And depending on, we're going to come on to loan-to-value ratio in a second, you may also end up paying lender's mortgage insurance, or LMI as it's referred to in the business. Has anyone in the room actually heard of LMI, or lender's mortgage insurance? No, okay. Okay. Why have I brought all of these things up? Because at the end of the day, like I say, one of the factors that will affect how much money you can afford to borrow is the size of your contribution, the size of your deposit. Okay. And I asked the question about loan-to-value ratio. Can anybody actually describe to me what loan-to-value ratio is? Can we put it in words? Oh my God, he's asked me to speak. Come on. All right, loan-to-value ratio, exactly as its name suggests. How much is your loan as a proportion, as a ratio of the value of the property that you're looking to buy? Okay, so you can see in my example here, with my example, you'd be looking to buy a property at $100,000. By the way, if you can find properties of $100,000, please give me a ring, because I'm certainly looking for them as well. Okay, you're looking to buy a property for $100,000. Okay, you need to borrow $80,000 to actually buy that property, because you've got the extra monies available to you to fund the difference. Your loan-to-value ratio would be 80%. Loan-to-value ratio. The size of your loan as a proportion of the value of the property, loan-to-value ratio. Why is that important? The reason it's important is this. Those mongrels on the TV who are advertising these 100% mortgages, I don't know if you guys have seen them, and I get a number of first home buyers who phone me up and say, Neil, fantastic, I've seen on the TV I can get a 100% mortgage. By that they mean a 100% loan-to-value ratio. By that they mean that the lender is prepared to lend them 100% of the value of the property. So they say to me, this is great, I can buy a property. And I say to them, how much contribution have you got? What's your deposit? And they say, nothing. Surely I don't need one because I can borrow 100% of the value of the property. The downside of that is what? The downside? the downside of that is the fact that we've got the extra payments to make in terms of the stamp duty, the lender's mortgage insurance, the application fees and the legal fees as well.